Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome back. This is Colt, and thanks for joining me on another Tesla full self-driving beta video. This is version 10.3.1, which just released yesterday, Monday the 25th. Today is Tuesday the 26th. This is actually my first time taking my car out since the update dropped, so I didn't get a chance to test it out yesterday or make a video or anything like that. So this video is going to be my first reaction, first impressions of 10.3.1, and we're going to go on my test loop that I've been doing since the updates have dropped. We'll go out to a local church and then we'll loop back around and see how it behaves. I'm not expecting too much of a improvement over, see, this thing's way creeping out. Wow. Okay, I thought I was gonna stop. I'm like, oh yeah, it definitely sees this car, no problem. Did not feel comfortable with that. It creeped into the other lane. I didn't think it'd be too big of a deal, but it just kept on going. Maybe it was gonna stop, maybe not. I wasn't about to wait and find out and see what happened. So anyway, back to the video, back to what I was saying with the dot release from 3.0 to 3.1. I'm not expecting any real differences in the beta behaviors, more so that they were just able to address and correct the bug that they were having with it causing people to be locked out of the beta and the safety concerns that it had. When I did my initial impressions or reaction video to 10.3, a lot different scenario. It was early in the morning and it was clearer weather. Right now it's about 4:45 p.m. and we got some rain going on, so I don't expect it to behave as well as it did for 10.3. A lot different conditions and again a lot different environment, but either way I just want to take it out and share my feedback. So again, that interaction right there at that stop sign, I don't know, I noticed it lately. It'll start to creep out into the other lane to where, say, as if a car was going to turn down that lane, you're pretty much a third of the way into their lane, which could cause issues, and depending on traffic could really cause an accident or something otherwise. Little jerk. Wow. Okay, that was interesting. Jerky behavior right there, and then just basically told me cruise control unavailable for whatever reason. I don't know if it had a trouble mapping or if it interpreted something else there. All right, so we're gonna have a lot of issues right now. We'll go ahead and re-engage. It was trying to take me around this car in front of me for some reason. It started to jerk and then I just pulled it the other way. So already not off to too good of a start either way with the video. But alas, that's going to be expected in different traffic scenarios and as well as with the weather as it is right now. I've been hearing a lot of good initial feedback from the testers that were on 10.3.1, being very happy with its progress so far. I'm expecting the same thing. Again, not all drives are going to be equal or similar, so just being cognizant of that and being mindful of, again, your surroundings and the conditions and what it can and can't do, and be ready for anything. Let's see here. Pick a lane. There you go. So it was undecided on what lane to go in. It didn't necessarily need a turn signal. That was a situation where it was going from one lane to two. It was splitting off. It mapped it correct. We needed to be in this right-hand lane, which is the right thing to do. It's hugging the left of this edge marker pretty good, this lane marker. I don't know why it's doing that. It got over a little bit, but it seemed to be hugging it a little bit initially. Swinging out, handling that turn well. Okay, all good. So I'm curious what next steps are going to be for the program. All in all, I believe there's still some 99 out of 100 safety score users that haven't received the update yet. I don't know if that was another situation like previously where they missed the cutoff for when people were eligible, or if they admitted as many folks as they could within the initial rollout of the 10.3, and they can expect to get it later this week. I think that's what ended up happening for the first rollout of 10.2 with the 100 out of 100 folks. Bulk majority of us, myself included, got it that Sunday, and then the remainder of the users ended up getting it rolled out to them later in the week, whether it be Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't recall, but it wasn't right away, that's for sure. So after that, I'm curious to see if they're going to go under the same progression with the builds that they did for this one, to where, okay, we're going to sit tight, we're going to be in a holding pattern for 10.3.1, and we're going to reevaluate and wait until the next build comes out, whether it be 10.4 or if they're going right to 11 like they did from the previous builds. Maybe they'll do that, to be determined. And if and when that happens, are they then going to increase the user base and include the folks with the 98 score? To be determined. Or maybe they want to stay at this build longer and just open up to the folks with the 98. Hard to say. I know that's always been up in the air, and I'm sure, I'm confident Tesla as a whole has that information internally that they probably discussed and came up with a roadmap for what they want to do. Alas, at times we're just at the mercy of Elon as far as when he wants to tweet out that information, or when he wants to answer someone's question on Twitter, to share that information with all of us. That's one thing that I wish, now that we're at this stage in the development, that Elon and Tesla would decide to do. Have a designated spokesperson, have the tweets come from Tesla. Okay, it creeped into the lane. I gave it some pedal to accelerate it through. I don't know if it was going to end up going or not. It started to go into the other lane, so again, I just went ahead and intervened. It wasn't a disengagement. I didn't have to brake or otherwise, but I did give it some pedal to accelerate through. But again, I that is one thing that I'd like to see at this stage in the FSD beta development. More of a spokesperson, more of a source to where we could get information, and them to stick to that for the information. Okay, all information regarding timelines or developments are going to come from, hell, make a new Twitter account or make a new web page to where users can go for the update. I'm going to go ahead and disengage. We're at our destination right now, and I'm going to go ahead and put in our return trip back home where I was. So slightly different trip, just a few different streets, but either way we'll be able to check out the return trip this way. So again, that's my wishful thinking. I know that's probably not the direction that the department heads at Tesla are given, whether it be them collectively saying we're keeping it close to the chest, and then Elon just chooses to drop information at his whim when he feels like he wants to. It's his company, as they would say. He could do that if he wants to, but again, just we as users, or we as potential users of the program, we know we would be able to get more definitive information on the program and next phases of the program more than anything. I think the release notes that they added to the vehicle were a huge step in the right direction. I really hope those can continue as we move forward. That gave folks a lot of good information. So we're at another stop sign. We have crossing traffic that doesn't need to stop or yield or anything like that. So again, the vehicle's slowly getting into this lane. I don't know if you guys could tell, I cannot see out of the right. There's a car right there, but after this one, we should be good. And it's doing a lot of wonky turning, but we made the turn. There was a vehicle behind us. I wouldn't cause that a cause for concern how long we waited at that intersection if vehicle wasn't going to go. See, we're stopping way down. You see here, we're down to 20s, 15. I don't know why. I have no idea why. Still indicated speed at 40. I'm going to go ahead and snapshot that, send it back to the team. I couldn't tell you why it was slowing down that dramatically for that scenario. There wasn't really any traffic, anything that the vehicle needed to go around. Maybe it saw something that wasn't there. Maybe it was just a phantom fluke, and maybe it thought it was a person or otherwise. I don't know. Maybe you caught that on the display while I was driving. So again, at least for my sake of comparing 10.3 to 10.3.1 with this build with this same route, it's definitely a digression in behavior, but I'm not going to write it off to say it's because of a change in the build. I'm just writing it off to more of a change in the conditions out on the road. Again, wet, rain. It's not a downpour to where I can't even see out the window or anything like that, but again, definitely not perfect conditions. Could be picking up on reflections in the rain on the ground and giving some false positives. I don't know. Again, that's why we have the snapshot button that we could record and capture occurrences and send them back to the team. That's why we're also encouraged to disengage or intervene whenever we feel it's appropriate, and all those data points and information gets sent back to Tesla to review and evaluate. So all in all, what we're doing is going to make this program better in the long run. It may not seem like it today or tomorrow or next week when we're out there driving these miles, but long run, I'm extremely confident we're going to make the progress in the right direction. I was reading some person's post, I think it might have been on Reddit, just about their initial feedback or impressions on the beta, and they seemed rather disappointed with it. I don't know if it was their first drive ever or if they had a few days or hours with it, but they seemed rather taken back to where they can't believe that this was released to us. I was expecting it to be much better along, or I watched all these videos on YouTube and I wasn't expecting the same thing. I get where that individual is coming from, but at the same sense, at least how I manage my perception on how this was going to behave, it's doing what I thought or expecting it to do as far as frequency of disengagement or frequency of erratic behavior. And the erratic behavior, if I had to quantify it as a percentage or even time, it's less than 5%, maybe 10% of all engagements or all interactions on the road. Yeah, you're definitely going to notice and remember that 5 or 10%, but that doesn't discount all the great things that it's doing so far, whether it be handling stoplights, intersections, turns, navigating around objects that are stationary. It's doing a lot of good things. I think firmly if you or I or these users with this feedback were on the initial beta builds last year at this time, then yeah, we might be thinking the same thing. But we got to remember, we got to start somewhere. Obviously, Tesla was doing, I would imagine, a lot of internal QA work before they even thought about breaking it out to public users. And they've been doing that over the last year, and here we are today as more and more users are getting access to this build and this information. So as the fleet continues to expand, as they refine a lot of these bullet points with it, it is going to get better over time. So here's another section where, okay, we're in 2 lanes. Okay, now it's making the right decision. It didn't make the right decision initially. It was going from 1 lane to 2. It chose the left lane when in reality it should have chosen the right lane to get into that lane right away. So I just went ahead and recorded that. Again, it wasn't a disengagement, it was just erratic behavior. Okay, it stopped rather abruptly. I have arguably 2 car lengths ahead of me. It's closing in now. It stabbed on the brakes pretty good right there for some unknown reason, but it's okay. So green light there, cross traffic, handled that just fine. And we're coming up to just another waypoint that I put in, and then I'll input in our last destination close to where I live, just to manage these last couple turns. All in all, if I had to compare and contrast the builds, it feels about the same. It feels worse than 10.3, my first drive. However, again, that's that big caveat of the conditions and the elements and everything that goes into it. So I'm going to reserve judgment on the build as a whole. It very well may be the same build, but just those safety features or safety concerns were just addressed. And that's my gut feeling on what the reality of it is. They pushed out minor adjustments in the build to alleviate those concerns, and we're in essence driving the same 10.3 build. That's just my thoughts. But I'm no software engineer, or I don't have higher level knowledge on how Tesla manages stuff like that. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and cancel right here. I'm going to go ahead and input in the last destination, and it should go ahead and readjust the navigation. Yep. It's just give me one more turn here at a stop sign, and we'll wrap it up.
In 500 feet, turn left onto Lyon Boulevard.
All right, so this intersection here is actually a 5-way stop.
Now
There's
turn left
5
onto Lyon
sets
Boulevard.
of streets, all with their own stoplight. 2 on the left side, 1 across from me, 1 to the right, and 1 to the left. So waiting for our turn. It has blue indications for the other vehicles. I'm waiting. I'm gonna go ahead and tap it. I'm tapping it again. I'm tapping it again. I'm giving it the pedal now. I don't know if it was just in a situation where it just didn't feel, oh, that was neat. That was my first time experiencing it. I don't know if you saw it on the display. I caught it at the very end. It said folding mirrors to make the turn. It did fold my mirror briefly. I don't know if you guys saw it on the display. I've never seen that driving full self-driving yet.
In 500 feet, your destination will be
I'm going to go ahead and disengage right there. So that was unique. It didn't need to fold the mirror. Quite frankly, could have taken the turn better and not need to fold the mirror, but that was my first time seeing that, so that's neat. All right, guys, that's going to be the end of the video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you all in the next one.